Hi, my name is Kelvin Newman and welcome to the Brighton SEO podcast, where we share talks from one of the world's most popular search marketing conferences. The event started out as a few people meeting in an upstairs room of a pub and is now attended by over 3,000 people from all over the world. This episode is a recording of one of the speakers at a recent event. We've got Joe and Daniel. They're going to be talking about a different perspective on ranking factors. I think this is going to be a really good session. If we could have a big round of applause for Daniel and Joe.
Oh, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having us today, Kelvin. I know I've been at Brighton SEO many times, and this is a great venue. I'm Joe, and this is Daniel, and we are from Search Metrics. We've actually got a stand downstairs in the booth 6, so come and say hello to us. Today we're going to be speaking about why your mom is a ranking factor, basically looking at how you should tailor your content to different users. So please feel free to tweet at Search Metrics during the presentation. You will have the slide as well. There's a link there, but we have a slide at the end for you to download, so feel free to do that. So I've been working at Search Metrics for just over 2 years now. I also work in SEO. I have my travel blog, and I'm trying to grow my Instagram. So feel free to follow Being30 on Instagram, or you can follow SEO Joe Blogs.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is Daniel. I'm head of content marketing at Search Metrics. I'm not that technical SEO guy because I have a background in linguistics and literature. And it may not even be that obvious, but in my free time I like to spend all my money on fancy sneakers.
Like today. Have you seen his sneakers today? Very nice. So Search Metrics, we've been around since 2005. Our head office is in Berlin, and we also have an office in London, Silicon Valley, and New York. And of course, we are here today as well. So come downstairs. We can give you a demo of some of our our suites. Today, we're going to take you through quite a few different things. We want to take you through what it used to be like in SEO. We're going to talk to you about what you should be doing now, and also conclude with a case study too. So let's cast our minds back. What was SEO like before? Well, there were some SEO ranking factors, tactics that people used to use. It was cloaking or link building or, text spinning and all these different things that people used because they all wanted to have rankings. And obviously, that was a short-term gain, and then unfortunately penalized. We all are aware of some of the people that have done this. I myself also did a lot of link removal. This is before I knew about your tool, Christoph. I think it was a few years ago. And a lot of people suffered off the back of that. This particular site dropped massive in rankings and traffic. Took about 2 months to recover, and now they're doing okay now. So basically, before with all the different SEO old tactics that people were using, people had manual penalties. Obviously, we've now seen that it's now algorithmic. We have had many different updates. Christoph talked about one of them. We've had Panda, Penguin, and of course Hummingbird, where we're actually moving away from looking at focusing on keywords, but more about user intent. And really within the search metrics, within the search industry, what we are doing now is we want to really put the user in the center. So it's all about relevant content and putting them first. And we're actually going to go through some of the different users you need to target with your content. You can do it. It is easy to do. Daniel is going to talk to you about what it used to be like, and I will then talk to you about how we're going to move going forward.
Yeah, thanks. And because everybody's going like, what? What's this all about? We started to create our famous Search Metrics ranking factors. So we've been doing the study for the last 5 years now. Most of you in the audience will be familiar with our studies. For those of you who aren't, feel free to download the study here. It's for free. It's worth a read. So what we're actually doing is we take 10,000 high search volume keywords and look at the top Google results for these keywords and go and crawl each and every single page to analyze what differentiates the pages ranking at the top from the pages ranking further behind. So since we have all this data and since we've been publishing content about this topic for 5 years now, what happens pretty often is this. So I left a blank space here on purpose because you can feel free to insert one of the following terms in it. It's like a bullshit bingo, actually. So I think we all agree that there are some basic rules to be followed to be successful in search. But the thing is, you can't just overgeneralize the importance of one single ranking factor. But people keep asking us that question, and sometimes we tend, or we would like to give an answer like that. And what was supposed to sound a little bit funny, and yes, a little inciting at the same time, it actually turned out to be quite true. Because your mom is a ranking factor because actually your mom is a user. So this is my mom and me, like 30 years ago. And like my mom is a ranking factor because she's a user, everybody's mom is a ranking factor because everybody's mom is a user. And basically, your mom is an analogy for everybody that's using the internet. So I have another lovely mom for you, and I think, Joe, you are familiar with this one.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this is my mom, and I think this is me, or maybe that's my twin sister, and maybe that one's me. I'm not sure, but she decided I'm going to have 2 kids at once, 2 for the price of 1, but it wasn't quite the case. So with the presentation that we're talking about today, we really want to be emphasizing the fact that it's tailored content. It's not just one size fits all. So what should we really be doing going forwards? Now, we did have the old ranking factors that we had, and Daniel's been working on for quite some time. And we now actually have these new ranking factors. We're going to go through 3 different of the industries that we have launched so far. Has anyone actually downloaded, the ranking factors? Anyone? No? Okay, well, feel free to visit searchmetrics.com/ranking factors, and you can download them now or later. So first one is, finance ranking factors. For my mom, she is in control of the budget in the household. Many dads say that they are, but actually it's really the mom. So be nice to your mom or mother, wherever you're from, because she's the one that's going to help you with many things, including looking for something like budget car insurance. So we're using here the content experience suite here, and looking at the term budget car insurance in the UK market, and you're finding that actually the search intent for everyone, high volume, is actually going to be transactional. You can see that there. Now, when you look in the sales funnel, which we have within the suite, you actually have quite a high percentage of people looking around retention. So retention is very important, especially if you are an insurance company, because then you can be writing content around why should I renew my content insurance, or car insurance. Yes, I often wonder why should I renew my car insurance, but things like the discounts you get, the no claims bonus, so you can make sure that you've got that content there ready for readers. So looking at this, we're looking at the finance users, what really is different to them as opposed to maybe the general ranking factor study or just other people in general, and that really is trust. Trust is very, very important for the finance users. They also like a lot of text. They're very, very keen on having structured content, though, within. They don't tend to have much images. They have about less than the benchmark. And they also have, because they don't have as many images or as much interactive content, as we'll see later on, their site is actually much, much faster to load. They do have fewer internal links, mainly because they actually have quite a lot of content on the page. They do use social, so it's not Facebook, as you might think in other industries. It's actually mostly LinkedIn. So that's finance users. So what about the travel users? So this is my sister Ruthie, and her husband Matt, so not me. So she is also a travel user. She likes to go and see a few places. So she's looking for city breaks. Again, I'm looking at this through the Content Experience Suite, the term city breaks in the UK, and actually it's quite interesting. We can see that there's a high proportion, big search volume for people looking in winter. Winter and summer. So that's quite interesting because I would have thought you'd have a lot of search volume around spring. So obviously if you're in the travel industry, writing content, you want to make sure then your content is ready for these key months to be able to serve content to the people, ready to read, digest, and of course, hopefully buy those city break flights or hotels. So travel users, how are those people different to the finance one? They also do have a lot of content, but it's about 50% higher, 57% higher than we found against the benchmark. They do have a lot of images, as you would expect, about 38% more. And they also do a lot of internal linking too, because of the industry it's in. They are very, very keen on obviously providing that relevant content. The whole SEO checklist of keywords, and I need to make sure it's like this, and that, using these keywords in certain areas does not work at all. Okay, and now we have the e-commerce one. So this is my dad, so Rob Turnbull, when he was in his heyday. I guess it was actually, this is probably 30 years ago, so, but still, he's still keen on biking and doing racing bikes. So he's going to look to find a racing bike. You can see that there is a lot of search volume here, informational and transactional. So the search intent for a lot of people is just to find out more about my racing bike with the intention to buy. Now, he's retired now, so he still wants to get a good racing bike, but he wants to get one sort of on a budget. So you can see around here the cheap racing bikes and race bikes for sale. That's more around sort of the purchase stage, but he is doing a lot of consideration around these terms there. So this is within the Content Experience Suite. You can actually find out where along the sales cycle and where along the search intent you should actually provide the content for your users. So what are the e-commerce users like? What are they looking for? We did find that they do as well like to have a lot of content, not as much as travel, so it's about 25% higher than the benchmark. The travel was higher than that, about 57%. They also like to have structured information around obviously their product details. They use country domains. They also are very keen, and they do use interactive elements on your website, as you'd expect. And of course, a high proportion of them do have their e-commerce transaction area above the fold.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And now let's go even one level deeper and look at niche ranking factors. I mean, we wouldn't be Searchmetrics if we wouldn't have any data for you. So we started to conduct ranking factor studies for niches. And these were the first ones we looked at, which is dating platforms, SEO blogs, and recipes. And I have two different ranking factors for you. Maybe this chart is familiar for you. So we have the share of HTTPS in Google search results depending on the Google position on the x-axis for three different niches: SEO blogs in yellow, in blue, dating in red, and recipes in yellow. And it turns out that it's shaped completely differently because actually 62% of SEO blogs, there's a higher share of SEO blogs having HTTPS. You can see that the different average for recipes is only 18%. So it's a completely different image for microdata, in this case, schema.org. Here you can see that actually recipes have a much higher share of microdata in their HTML code. And it totally makes sense. When you look at the following example, I mean, you may be familiar with Googling recipes, and it turns out that recipes often come with rich snippets, having like reviews, cooking times, nutrition information. So I Googled a recipe keyword, and it turns out that 8 out of 10 search results actually have rich snippets deriving from schema.org integration. And now when we have a look at dating platform keyword, it's totally different. It's just 2 out of 10 search results having schema.org integrations. So that means, to conclude, there are no general ranking factors anymore. General ranking factors depend on the niche you're in. So your content needs to be tailored to your audience, and this is how you can do it.
Thanks, Daniel. So to summarize, we want to make sure that you can tailorize, as Daniel said, your content to your users. How can you go and do this? We'd recommend these sort of 5 steps. So using our new suite, the Content Experience Suite, you can actually go and look at the topics. What are people searching for? It's not just specific keywords. You can find out what people are looking for. You can then see the different sales funnels and the search intent. You can also find out what are people asking in the marketplace, so you can then deliver the content in response to what people are asking for. So you know that there is that demand there. And then you can actually write the content, and we have a live editor. And then, of course, you can track it through the analytics. So it's very, very clear of what you can do, the situation, the action, the uploading and writing all the content, and then the yield, the return on investment. How can you prove that has worked? So we have one case study to show you of that. Of a client that has actually used, this is the Content Experience Suite, to actually help them increase their visibility, increase traffic, and conversions using this platform. So you can see this is an increase in the visibility over time from December, actually, all the way up to July. The company is Dentolo, our client in Germany. And like many people, I'm guilty of it as well, you publish and then forget. So you think, why isn't anyone coming to my website and checking out my travel blog or my recommendations and tips? It's because you don't always update it. So what Dentolo realized is that they wanted to actually find out sort of what the top performing articles was on their actual website, blog posts. They used the Content Experience Suite for that. And then what they did is they optimized it, and then they republished it. And this is the results from what they found. So 24% increase in more visitors and 16% more conversions. So that's a great example of they wanted to create great content, but what they decided to do was actually repurpose what they already had, like many people do. You have a lot of content on your blog, and then optimize it, and you actually saw a big increase, which is great. So really, for what we wanted to be able to present to you guys today is that each user is different, make them happy, and provide the relevant content for you. We're Searchmetrics. You can download the presentation here, and we're also there downstairs in the foyer at the stand B6, and we're also here the whole day, so come and find us. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming today.
Thank you very much.
This was originally recorded at a Brighton SEO conference. If you want to listen to more episodes or find out about the conference itself, you can do at brightonseo.com.